Hello, guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula, your host, as always, and today I'm talking about thriving during the winter season and what that can look like for you and avoiding the winter pitfalls just by working on your business rather than in your business. Isn't this the perfect opportunity? I don't know. Let's go to the show. As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time and freedom to become limitless through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods. If you want help with your marketing, managing or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Let's get back to the show. Hello, guys, and welcome to this week's episode. How are you doing? It's officially November. It is winter. And today I'm talking about the question that I get posed all the time. Is this the time where you should be investing in things and moving your business forward by using the quieter downtime? I know we're all still very busy, but there are pockets of downtime as we go into December and January where you could be working on the business rather than in the business. I've had multiple different conversations with people, as I spoke about in my Friday thoughts on Instagram this last week. And essentially, it's a split. Some people are hunkering down and using these quiet months, just trying to make sure they keep hold of the money, make sure they're working, they're just doing the things. Some people are looking at it as an opportunity to work on the business and also to invest in things such as extra marketing, a coach and a mentor, maybe new maybe new vans and stuff like that. They'll be looking at getting ready for the new year to go into their phase of growth. So just wanted to look at how we can, in my opinion, we need to leverage the quieter months in order to work on the business and how beneficial it might be for you to have a coach and mentor. I myself have 3 different coaches that I work with, one on business and mindset, one on self-development, and that's working on past trauma, etc. And then one that I work with in my bodybuilding ambitions. So I have a coach and a PT that helps me with eating plans and also training plans to get me to my goal next year of competing on stage. So I actually see the huge importance of having them, hence I have 3. Yes, they are an investment, but actually, if I want to get to where I need to go, I need other people that have A, been there and done that, and B, that are there to support me in amongst the other people that can bring you down. So bear in mind who you surround yourself with matters. I know I've spoken on this a number of times, but it's also about having people that get you, that understand where you've been, where you're going, that have the experience and have the know-how on how to get you there. So I just wanted to share that with you, because if you are thinking maybe this isn't the time to invest in a coach or mentor because work is slowing down, we've got the close down over Christmas period, I'm worried about money, maybe this is the right time, because this is probably one of the times that you'll have enough time to actually get things done. So it's all about embracing this slower period of time. I know we're all still working, we're still busy, but like today, the rain is falling. It will impact on the projects getting done on time, and it will slow down progress. And as we go further into the winter period, we look forward to that break at Christmas. But is that really an ideal time and opportunity to work on the business rather than just completely close down and ignore everything? The benefits that you can get from slowing down is the fact that you've actually got some headspace to work on the business. So you've got that focus and that time available. You've also got the benefit that a lot of your staff might be off for holidays over the Christmas close down. So you've got that space where you're not having to deal with the fires that happen on a daily basis when you are a business owner and you are responsible for staff and particularly teams on the ground getting things done. So it gives you that space to think. and to work on the business. It also means that you can work on your strategic planning for growth. We all want to work on a plan for next year. We're all looking ahead to 2024 and thinking, what could we do that year that we haven't done this year? It's all about reflection on what you've achieved and maybe what you haven't yet achieved, but you've been making inroads to in 2023. And how can we strategically plan for growth in 2024? The only time you're going to get the chance to do this is during this winter period. And you may need some support with that. Maybe you just don't know where to begin. Maybe you know what your goals are, you have an idea, you can map out your plan, but you have no idea how to work back and put in actionable steps. Maybe you haven't got the accountability there that comes from having a coach and mentor. Maybe you just literally sit there staring at a blank piece of paper thinking, how the hell am I going to get from A to B? What's different about 2024? Maybe that negative mindset comes into play where you think, I didn't achieve it this year. What's different about next year? And maybe you start blaming other people when really we need to look at ourselves and what we haven't done that maybe has impacted on not achieving where we want to be this year. Maybe we haven't set aside that time before to actually strategically plan properly. And maybe this is just the ideal time to embrace that and look at our mindset as well as a strategic plan going forward. The ideal things that we can work on, and I think you'll probably have lots of ideas here, but just some of my ideas and some things that I'm going to be working on for myself and my landscaping business is I'm going to be looking at the business strategy. What do I want to achieve as a business and in my personal life next year and beyond? And working back to what I need to achieve each month, each week, what strategies I need to put into place to do that. A lot of it, if you're looking at growing your business, will ultimately come back to having a great marketing plan. So that's the second thing I would urge you to look at and work on, is having an actual marketing plan and strategy to work to. So there are many things we can do in marketing. Check out some of the other podcasts where I've highlighted quite a lot of marketing strategies over the last few months that you can utilize in your business. If you have no idea, please drop me a line, because that's my core interest is marketing and sales. That's where I began life, and that's where my skill set really does lie as well, in developing marketing strategies and generating leads for landscaping businesses. You need to think about what you want to do, really reflect on what you've done in the past. So that will entail looking at your inquiry log and determining some actual facts, not just making up things that you think are true. And I've touched on this before in previous podcasts. We can often think things that aren't true. And then when we look back on the statistics, so looking back on maybe Google Analytics, looking at your inquiry log, looking at any data you have of what has happened last year or this year that we're in, you can actually start to see patterns, and you can actually start to see facts like where people have come from, what marketing strategy has worked for you in the past and why, and what you can do to really capitalize that going forward. You can also look at things like in conversion rates to see if there's issue with sales. You can look at multiple different stuff, and it's all about knowing your numbers and then utilizing those numbers in your strategy of growth going forward. And what I'd always suggest is looking at a number of strategies that you want to employ marketing wise. And this is obviously based on budget, on time, on consistency, because what's the point in saying you're going to be on social media if you don't have the time to be on social media? And obviously then putting it into an actual calendar so that you can follow through. Something that I've been doing actually with my friend Charlotte, as you know, ex-TLC, she has been helping me brainstorm some ideas around social media for all the businesses going forward. And by putting it into just a basic calendar, we utilize Asana. I can put the ideas in there, and actually it helps me every week to map out and write all of my social media content for the week going forward. So I'm not behind, I'm not scrabbling for ideas. It just helps to plan better. And this is what I would suggest you do with an entire marketing plan. So for instance, if you feel like leaflets are the way to go, you map in when you're going to have that leaflet designed and printed by, when they're going to go out, how it's going to go out, and for how long are you going to do this particular campaign, and how are you going to measure it. And I'd always say we need to test and measure, because not everything will work all of the time. You might need to tweak the message, you might need to tweak the imagery, or you might just need to change your entire marketing strategy if you're getting nowhere. I would then pop that into the marketing calendar, and potentially to enable to test and measure is to use a unique code on each bit of your marketing, leaflet 10 or something like that. Just so when people call in, if they mention that, they get something for it, and you can measure that particular marketing effort really well. And then you could put in your social media strategy, maybe email marketing, whatever the strategy is, but map it out into a calendar so that you can tick it off as you go, so you can plan and prepare for if you're having a particular launch for something. You can basically then notice if you get an uplift in inquiries following that as well. So it's all about testing and measuring, and then capitalizing on what works for you. The third and final thing that I would suggest you do during these winter quieter downtimes is a financial review. You could do that with your accountant, you could do it yourself, however you want to do it. It's called reflecting on your numbers, seeing where you're at, and seeing how we can progress forward and making a plan for next year. I like to also do make sure the cash flow forecast is up to date, so we can really see what cash is coming in. And obviously, then we can plan for any dips, any gaps. Maybe you have got a gap in the diary for some reason, then you can look to get someone booked in. But it's really important to do a financial review, no matter where you are in your business year. It doesn't have to be the end of the year. It's important to find out where you're at so that you can plan accordingly, because obviously this will impact your marketing and it will impact your business strategy for growth. It's really important that we capitalize on this down period. And for me personally, I'm going to be doing all of those three things. But one thing that I am planning to do is to actually get this showroom built so that we can launch it next year. Now, that's my biggest goal, because we actually have some guys that will be off for periods following Christmas, so we can utilize the rest of the team to do that. We might be able to get some of the team to come in and do some odd days if they're looking to earn a bit more money. But essentially, we need to get that done so I can get it launched. And again, that will then impact on my marketing strategy, and it will impact on my finances and my business strategy going forward. So that's just one thing that I'm going to do personally to move the business forward. Another thing that I'm going to do personally is try and set aside some more time for mindset. I'm big on mindset. I believe that if you show up with the wrong energy and the wrong mindset, the results will be the same. So you have to make a concerted effort to develop your mindset and yourself in order to attract the right opportunities and the right things to you. If you do all the things in the wrong state of energy, you will not see success. And I've seen that happen to myself. It's happened multiple times over the years. And my coach always says to me, it's the energy you bring to it rather than what you do. It doesn't mean that you can't take any action, just show up with full on energy. No, you have to take actions, but it's from the right place instead of the wrong place. So I will be setting aside some time to do some reflection on that and how I can manage that extra time required to develop my mindset going forward into the new year. I've talked about coaches and mentors, and the main thing is that you can learn from your coach and mentor. You get the support of having them. And also when you're having wobbles, which can happen when it's in the quieter periods, because you start getting worried about work and money, then that's what we are here for, to help and support you during those times, during those wobbles, and to give you some ideas and some support during that time. What I've really found myself working with landscapers is that those that work with me or other mentors in the industry or coaches, they do see a positive effect on their businesses, and that is generally then reflected in their finances. So there's lots of benefits. As I've said, I've got 3 and I'm seeing the benefits all of the time. I've been with my business coach for near on 2 years now, and my personal trainer for the last year. It's coming up to our year anniversary. I'm not quitting with them anytime soon, because I need their support in various different ways, obviously, to get towards the goals that I'm looking to do. So that's why I continue utilizing my coach and mentor. I don't see them as a magic pill, because I had this discussion with a client actually, and really you could have the best mentor and coach, But unless you do the things they advise you to do, or unless you take the action that you know you should, then it doesn't matter whether they're good or bad. You'll still not achieve what you want to achieve. For instance, my PT, Dana, she tells me to eat to a plan. She gives me a training plan. She gives me an eating plan, and I check in every week. If I choose not to adhere to that plan, or I lie and do not log what I'm doing because I have to fill in the daily sheet, if I lie on that, I'm only lying to myself, because ultimately she can't then change things to help me improve because I've lied. And also, if I've chosen not to do the things she told me to do to get to where I want to be, then I'm not going to get there regardless whether she coaches me or not. So it is a lot of yourself. You have to want to do the things, and you have to be invested. So it's not a magic pill where you get a coach or mentor and suddenly you achieve great success. You only do that if you are as invested as they are in helping you. So that's something to bear in mind. It does ultimately rely on you and your actions, your mindset, and the way you utilize that coaching and mentorship going forward. Like I say, she could give me an eating plan and a training plan till the cows come home, and if I don't follow it, I'm not going to be where I want to be. So it's really important, but it's also a lot on you. So if you're not ready to take that leap, then coaching and mentoring isn't for you, because it does fall down to you at the end of the day. It's ultimately down to you whether you achieve success or not. It's just the way it is. I think what we can all find is that we look at cost. And we do this in lots of areas of business. We can go, it's too expensive to outsource my SEO or my marketing or my admin because I haven't got that money in the business. It's too much to employ a coach or mentor because I haven't got the money. The ultimate thing is you need to spend money in order to gain back time. That's why we outsource. We spend the money in order to gain back the time that we need to work on the more important things, the bigger things, the things that are going to change our business and our lives. Same with mentoring and coaching. You can do it yourself, of course, but if you haven't got the accountability, will you do the things you know you need to do? Possibly not. Will you get to where you want to be as quickly as you want, or will it take you a longer period of time to get there? In which case, you've cost yourself more money because you haven't got there quicker. Do you see where I'm getting to? So that might be your hesitations, is about the cost. But actually, what's the cost if you did? What impact can it have on your business? And how can you get further forward if you've invested that money? It's also a case of when you do invest in that money, you tend to take it more seriously because you've spent the money, so you need to do the work. And it's really important that you get an external perspective and that external guidance during periods of business reflection and planning. This is probably the key time to work with someone. That time is now for us as landscaping professionals. This is the time when we have the quietest period and the most time, because essentially when it gets to spring, it goes crazy again. So that's what I wanted you to think about. How are you going to utilize your winter downtime to plan for what we know will be a massively busy time come spring? As soon as the sun comes out, everyone wants their gardens done, and we need to be prepared for it, which means, let me just recap on the three things, is looking at your business growth plan, your marketing strategy, and then reviewing your finances. So it's all about a period of reflection, and then basically goal setting and setting actionable steps. I am the landscapers coach. If you want to have a chat about potentially me helping you forward plan for your business, then do give me a shout. Like I say, coaching and mentoring for me is priceless, and I continue to invest in it and myself regularly. And I think if you've been thinking about it, now is the time when you can actually probably set aside a good chunk of time to work on the actions that they will probably set for you. So if you want to get in touch, please do. Instagram, DM me at The Landscapers Coach, or email Paula at thelandscaperscoach.co.uk. And I will be seeing you next week. Please do drop me a line on the takeaways you get from this episode. And please leave a review if you are loving the podcast. I'd love to get to much, much more landscapers in the world. So if you could leave me a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that would be I'd be massively grateful for that. It'd be on my list of gratitude. So Thank you very much, guys. And I will see you again for the Limitless Landscapes podcast next week. Bye.